Hello, my beautiful Sagittariuses. Welcome back to the Abundant Joy Tarot. This is our day, and I am happy to be bringing your May Intuitive Tarot reading to kind of just to give you an overview of what might be coming your way, your environment around you, is things to be looking forward, looking forward to, and things to be looking out for. So that being said, we're doing it a little bit differently this month for the majority of the astrological signs. And so I'm going to walk you through what we're doing here, and then we're going to go right into the reading. I've already prayed over the cards and pulled them specifically for my beautiful Sagittariuses for the month of May. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look first at the Significator, which will be kind of the overview of the reading, giving us an idea there. Then we will take a look at your first area, which is going to be your area of sort of your self-perception, as well as how others see you and how you need to maneuver within your networks and communities within the month of May. And then we'll move into your second area, which is going to be your career, your income, and your resources for the month of May. And then your third area, we're going to look at love, partnership, as well as family. Okay. And then over here in your fourth area, we'll dig into your health and wellness. Very important. And then fifth, we'll look at your expression, like sort of how you're expressing yourself, as well as any adventure, as well as your higher learning area. Okay. And then finally, we'll dig into spirituality as well as the unconscious. And then we'll get a guidance from spirit directly. So that is what I have pulled, and this is what we're going to do, and we're going to jump right into your reading. So grab yourself a cup of tea, coffee, whatever it is, some water, and let's get going. All right? So for the general overview, we've got reevaluate. In the star-lit sky, we still look for the falling stars. Wow. So this is what is came to me as soon as I saw reevaluate. What came to me is that, but even with this image of the stars, I mean, I can actually visually see the image of these stars. But what I was seeing on the stars as they were dropping were like, this is kind of odd, but I was seeing faces of people, like different people, as well as like what it would be, like a list, like a to-do list. That's what it was. It was like a to-do list, or like there, I just saw a bunch of images of different falling stars, and I feel like what Spirit is showing me is that for you all, Sagittarius, one of the things that you're going to need to look at is they're wanting you to make sure that in the places where you feel like you've fallen down in some way, or whether there are people that, you know, maybe have disappointed you, or you maybe even lost, that their Spirit is asking you to learn the lesson from the mistake, learn the lesson from the individual, the situation, and then reevaluate what your steps are moving forward. Okay, now we'll see how this gets played out in the rest of the reading, but the message that I'm hearing from Spirit is that they're wanting you to not miss the lesson, to make sure that you are incorporating what lessons you've been learning lately, because they're being shown to you for a reason. So for instance, what just came to me is that some of you may have had a truth recently revealed. Maybe you learned something about someone, or a project, or a job that you're on, or that was maybe unsettling. Okay. But what Spirit is saying is that they don't want you to miss that, like, that those truths being revealed to you are there for a reason. In other words, you're supposed to learn the lesson so that you can use it in what is coming up for you. Okay. So just be mindful of that. They're like wanting you to put it in. I'm seeing a little like a little pouch, like a toolkit, like you gathering, like I'm getting this image of you gathering these mistakes, learnings, truths, right? And putting them into your little toolkit. And then I'm seeing, this is really interesting. I'm not normally seeing all these images, but I'm seeing like you like looking into that bag with like a little, what are those things called? Like a monocule, like a you know, that thing that you put is one glass, like a one eyeglass or something, and you're like, it's kind of like a little funny, but it's like a little inspector, like looking at those things, looking at your lessons. So that, I feel like that's a pretty strong message for you all, is to pay attention to your lessons and help them, let them use them to help you move forward. And then your overall reading, okay, interesting. Ooh, okay, all right, interesting. So you've got the Hermit, but you've got the Hermit in reverse. So one of the things that this is saying, so the Hermit upright, and what I heard from Spirit is like, because in my mind, I was thinking, is this supposed to be upright? And what Spirit said is they need to turn it upright. Okay. So that means that right now, some of you may be in an energy that is like the shadow side of the Hermit. And that is withdrawing from society, isolating yourself, loneliness, forever seeking, without actually, doing the work to heal, kind of like going under in a way. Just, it's almost like a hiding energy, okay, rather than what the active energy of the Hermit is, which is going to be inner reflection, contemplation, meditation, soul searching, tapping into your inner wisdom, finding your guide, and maybe taking away some time away from the chaos so that you can regenerate, right? This energy upside down is not a regeneration. It is a loneliness. It is a stagnation, right? So if you're in this place right now, Spirit is telling you for the month of May, you need to turn that energy around. And by doing that, you need to really, if you're going to be isolating yourself in some way, do it with an intention of tapping into your inner guidance and your inner wisdom, so you emerge from that space, from a state of reflection, from a state of renewal, from a state of greater knowledge of self. All right. So that looks like it's your overall energy. So that kind of marries well. I'm going to leave that upright because this is where we want to be, right? You want to be moving there, even though you all know that was reverse. So if that's where you are, Spirit is telling you, you need to actively change that around. All right. But it goes well with the reevaluation, because there's this sense of like tapping into your inner guide, letting he's holding his own light. It is guiding him forward. Right. So use your reflections to guide you forward. All right. Now let's move right into your first area, which is going to be how you see yourself, how other people see you, as well as your networks or groups. And let's see what you've got. So you've got, interesting. Okay. So yeah, this is an interesting kind of repetition of what I was just sort of saying there in a way, but with some additions. So you've got the Four of Cups here, and then you've got the Hierophant. Now the Four of Cups energy is the similar energy that I was speaking to in terms of isolating yourself, but this is not necessarily isolating yourself. It's more a sense of like looking at the lost cups, looking at what is lost, looking at the lack in your life, rather than looking at what is going well, looking at that magic that's in that cup right now, right? That the remaining cup that's still there. There's so much there. She's turned away from it. She's not looking at it. She's focusing on what has been lost. And so there's a need. And I often feel like that is what is going on internally. You may be having that feeling, whereas you've got the Hierophant. Now the Hierophant energy kind of reflects like tradition, lessons, but it can also reflect like a spiritual leader or guide being enlightened, an awakening of some kind. It also can represent formal education or training. Okay. But it also talks about like sort of new perspectives, gaining new perspectives. So I feel like how other people are seeing you is through the eye of seeing you as someone who is maybe a bit either spiritually enlightened or very like what's the word, educated, like trained, formal. Okay. They may see you as someone who maybe even they may see you almost as being a little bit rigid, but really from a space of like growing and opening. And so it's a really lovely energy. Now, the other thing is that we're talking about your groups and your networks. And so I feel like what I'm hearing here is the Spirit is saying you have an opportunity to step away from this energy, because this energy I don't want to say it's useless, but it doesn't really help you to move forward. Okay. You need to turn your attention to what is really going on, the abundance here. And so I feel like Spirit is saying within your networks, within your groups, within your communities, within the month of May, that it's important for you can leverage those communities to continue to broaden your horizons, develop new perspectives around the things that you're working toward in your life. You can also, maybe do some learning or education within your communities and groups, and that's going to be beneficial for you in the month of May. Okay, so that is what I'm seeing in the first area. And the second area we're going to move to is your career, your income, and your resources for the month of May. Ooh, okay, all right. Okay, Sag. So you've got Justice, which is a lovely card to have here because the Justice card, major arcana, and it is talking about sort of karma. It's like things getting balanced, right? The scales being balanced. So if you felt like maybe you were in a situation where you weren't being paid fairly, or the work wasn't distributed fairly, like within your career, or something that you've been trying to attain, like you haven't been able to it just has seemed unbalanced, like unfair in a sense, that in the month of May, things should balance out for you with regards to that. Also, like if you've had some extremes happening within your finances, right? Within your sense of income or resources, like a lot of things going out and not a lot coming in, right? Like where you've been feeling unbalanced in that way, in the month of May, you should start to see that come into balance. Your books should come into balance, right? Because justice is about putting things back into harmony, into space, okay? So that is beautiful. And then you've got this Page of Voices. Now, the Page of Voices in this deck represents the Page of Swords. Now, pages are typically have kind of a new, young energy. Apprentices may come bearing messages of some kind, but they focus on this sense of the Page of Voices because it's the Page of Swords. Really talks about this really rich, deep curiosity of intellectual pursuits. Okay, kind of a restless energy, wanting to learn something new. So you may be really looking into additional new ways of income, exploring some of the, I'm hearing like technology that might be out there that might shift the way that you're working in your career or what you're moving towards in your passion, and that you're going to have this sort of ferocious longing to learn more. Okay. And so Spirit is really saying, like, be the student, right? Like, be the student, allow yourself to think like with the openness, right? The openness, the sense of curiosity of a student. And that is going to be a blessing for you in the month of May, to be able to help you open new avenues, new ways of kind of looking at your career and your income, like what you're bringing in. Maybe you'll bring in a new stream of income, Sag. So keep your ideas open. When you have an idea about something, follow it through, like do the work, like read up on it, Google on it, see the videos on it, like just learn more about it and see what it can bring to you, because I think it's going to be a blessing for you. Now, in your third area, we're going to now move on to your love, your partnerships, and your family. Okay. And you've got, wow, very powerful cards, y'all, very powerful cards. So you've got the Death card. Now, with regards to your partnership, I love the Death card in this particular deck because it just very vividly shows you all of the cobwebs around her thinking, right? Her mind. So there is a death to what's happening with your ideas, your understandings of how you need to maneuver, be, think, walk, feel within your partnerships. So whether that be love relationships or within your family unit, your domestic sphere, right? Or with even like partnerships, like if you have a coworker or someone that you work with, a business partner of some kind or a creative partner of some kind, there's a need for you to let something go in regards to how you're thinking about it, how you're thinking about the partnership, how you're thinking about what love needs to look like in your life, like, old paradigms that you may have been holding on to that maybe might not even be yours, Sag, okay? Because sometimes we hold on to things that we've been taught within our family and within our childhood, and we just have assumed that is true, right? And we just go with it, like, oh, obviously we need to feel this way, obviously, if you're in a relationship, I need to behave in this certain way and the other person needs to behave in a certain way. Obviously, I need to work and the other person doesn't need to work, or obviously vice versa, right? Or just some traditional ways of thinking that are hindering you from really receiving the abundance of joy and love and what's the word I'm looking for? It's like harmony or balance within your life, right? And within your partnership. Because the other thing is, once you're able to let that go, so you've got this death card, right, of letting things go, an ending, if you will. And then you've got this beautiful beginning, right? So it's like let go of some old ideas, some old thoughts around how things need to be so that you can, with this beautiful energy of the Ace of Swords, which is going to be a beginning, you can allow those new ideas, that sense of a burst of clarity or aha moment that's represented by the Ace of Swords to come forward. Allow yourself to see the truth that is as it is revealed to you, because that's what this card is. It's like a beacon of truth, like opens in new ideas, new creativity, victory, success, communication. Okay. So it feels like within your partnerships, there's going to be an opportunity for looking at things in a new way, communicating and taking in new ideas, having a greater sense of clarity. You're going to definitely gain some clarity about yourself and the people around you in the month of May. Leverage that to deepen and grow your partnerships and your family, strengthen your family. Okay. All right. So that being said, we are now moving on to your health and wellness, which I think is one of your most important areas, because if we don't have health, we don't have anything. So let's see what we've got here. Wow. Okay. So you've got the Six of Inspirations, which is going to be your Six of Wands, okay, for this deck. And you've got the Hanged Man. Now, because we're talking about your health and wellness, the Hanged Man for me really represents taking a pause, giving your sense, it's like suspending yourself in time so that you can tap into the divine. All right. Tap into the divine and get downloads, if you will, from spirit. This really to me represents like, however it is that you tap into spirit, whether it's going to church, whether it's your own meditation, whether it's taking a nature walk, whatever it may be for you that allows you to tap into the divine and the greater intelligence of the universe, however you define that. This is what this card is asking you to do, to take a pause in the month of May. And because it was specifically talking about your health and wellness, it's like an opportunity for you to kind of slow down a bit, check in with yourself. How are you feeling? Making sure you're breathing, making sure you're getting your water and staying hydrated, taking the time to check in with your body, see how it feels, and see what it's asking you. And I'm also hearing from spirit is if you're craving certain types of food, check that out. Find out what that food is. There may be a vitamin in there that your body is actually craving. Like some people, I'll reveal for myself, like I'm anemic. And so sometimes there is I have a craving for like red meat, right? I think because I'm needing the iron, right? So sometimes there's certain things that you need, or you may be craving leafy greens. Get those leafy greens in, right? Whatever it might be, just spirit is saying to tap into your body, pay attention to how your body is feeling, any differences or changes in your body, pay attention to it and do something about it. Don't just go, oh, I've had a headache for 3 days. Okay. Why? Make sure, are you getting enough water? Are you is there a level of stress that you need to release? Whatever it is, but just pay attention. Okay, Sag, pay attention. And then you've got this beautiful 6 of inspirations, which is going to be the 6 of wands. This is a card of like victory and recognition. It is being seen, recognized for a job well done, being thanked, being in the spotlight, and healing your fear of success. So because this is within your health and wellness, I feel like there's going to be a transformation for you all in the month of May in regards to receiving success, receiving victory, receiving abundance, receiving people acknowledging you. If some of you are deflecting compliments, like somebody says, oh, you're amazing. Oh, no, it's not me. I didn't do it. You need to stop yourself and just say, thank you. Like, that's it. Like, that's all. If that's all you can do, then just do that, right? But there's a sense of you, Spirit is really saying, like, wanting you to be open to receive the success and abundance. The more open that you are to receive that, beautiful Sagittarius, more of it's going to come. Okay, so that is what I am seeing there for your health and wellness. Now we're going to move on to your self-expression, adventure, higher learning. And you've got, interesting. Okay, all right. So some of you all, your ships are coming in. Some things that you've been working on. You've set some initial goals on things. And this stage of the 3 of Wands is like, you're going to start to see some things come back. You're going to start to see some progress moving forward in the things that you're passionate about with this fire energy. Now, you've also got this 6 of Cups, which is the 6 of emotions in this deck. And that this card is a card of nostalgia. So because we're talking about your sort of self-expression and adventure, possibly higher learning, this talks about sort of like memories, childhood memories. It also could be your inner child happening. So I feel like there's an opportunity for you in the month of May to revisit. Now, it's interesting because those of you who follow what's going on in the stars, if you will, astrologically, Mercury is retrograde until I believe May 14th. Okay, so Mercury retrograde, a lot of people talk about Mercury retrograde being about like communication issues, technical issues. They tell you not to buy any electronics during that time, et cetera, because it might be going on, because things can be a bit hidden, right, on the under. But the other thing, the positive thing about the Mercury retrograde is that when you are dealing with or working with somebody that you've worked with in the past, and maybe it's a new person coming in or something that is from the past, because Mercury is retrograde, that has to do with communication, something that you were dealing with in your childhood that you need to communicate back about, or somebody is communicating to you about. You may be learning some truths about something of your past, that is actually very positive within the Mercury retrograde period. It kind of supports that sort of energy and emergence, right? So there may be an opportunity for you within your realm of self-expression and adventure to kind of go back and get it, as they say, the Sankofa principle, to go back and get it, like go back and get a better understanding, gain something that you didn't gain from a memory, right? So there, all of that is there here. And at the same time, you've got some newness coming in. Your ships are coming in, some things that you've started, projects that you've been moving forward. You're going to see some progress. You're going to see some positive movement forward with that. So hang in there, Sag, because you've got some really good things coming in. And if somebody from the past shows up for you within the month of May, there may be a blessing in that for you. So allow yourself to be open to that. Okay. And then in the final area that we're looking at, this is going to be your unconscious, or like your realm of spirituality, right? And let's see what you've got. Ooh, okay. Okay. So you've got the Queen of Voices, which is the Queen of Swords. And you've got the Ace of Wands. I love this particular Ace of Wands. It really in terms of what's going on in the unconscious, it is really a great card to illustrate this sort of sense of connection to your intuition, connection to your third eye, new ideas, a seed of potential. It's like what's brewing underneath the surface for you, Sag, is like something that you're passionate about, some ideas that are starting to formulate. You might have gotten pieces and parts of things. If you're creative, you may have seen some images of things that are coming forward, or gotten lines or some lines and things. Or if you're a writer, if you're a dancer, you might have like seen some images of a movement or something that you want to do. If you are like in technology, you might have gotten some ideas about how to connect this and that, or an engineer or things like this. All these things are spirits like giving me these different ideas, but all these things, it's like seeds are being planted underneath the surface right now. And those seeds are going to be very powerful for you in the future, Sag. So this reminds me to go back to this Hanged Man energy in your health and wellness. I feel like if you address your meditation, your stillness, your walks, if you put what's the word I'm trying to look for? If you put a intention, right? If you put an intention on that time around, Spirit, I want to be able to further understand the seeds, these ideas, these things that are coming forth for me. Tap into that so that you can kind of understand what would be the next steps to move you toward this beautiful blessing. There's a way in which what's going on underneath the surface, this card also represents you see how there's like this connection happening on, there's like interconnectedness of things. It's like your mind is connecting various ideas and fire and birthing this seed of new growth. So I'm really hearing like all you folks out there that are mathematically inclined or engineers or putting together things, like you're going to start to kind of, what's going on in the unconscious is that you're beginning to have an understanding of how to connect some things. Okay. And if you're not like, kind of engineer, it could be just like within your own personal life, like connecting people, connecting how you were. I'm trying to articulate what I'm actually hearing, but there's like connecting the various resources, maybe connecting various resources that you have in your life, like the way various people work together. You may so for instance, some of you may know, it's like becoming more clear, like some of you may know someone over in this network, we go back to this idea of network within this community that you work with, someone that does this and they do it really well. And then someone over here in a different network that maybe they're not in communication with each other that does something else really well. And you all of a sudden get an idea of like how the three of you could link together to create something, right? To burst something, whether it be a project, a performance, I don't know what it could be. It could be anything. It's amazing. Like it's a really, it's just a potential of idea, right? So I feel like that's going on underneath the surface, and Spirit is saying, take a look at that, because you're going to want to take steps to actually build that, because something amazing can come out of it. Now, the other thing is the Queen of Voices, which is going to be your Queen of Swords, right? Now, remember, she is very powerful. She's very abundant in the way that she gets the things that she brings in her life, is that she's also very balanced and relies on her intellect and intelligence. So it's a very, it's air energy, very mind focused, idea focused, and she has kind of sovereignty, if you will, over her own mind, and is able to look at decisions very clearly and be very decisive in her decision making. So this, along with this seed of idea, is just a beautiful thing that's brewing underneath the surface for you, or may have to do with like your spirituality and how you're connecting, like you're connecting ideas of your mind, body, spirit, and soul. And that is going to lead you to your purpose. All right. That's what I'm being told, and that's what it is. So hopefully that resonates with you. And then your guidance from, wow, that's beautiful. Okay. So so this is the frog spirit, right? Okay. the card says renewal. I love that for you because there's this sort of sense of like things are coming into balance for you. You've got 2 aces in your reading. You've got this 3 of ships coming in, and then you've got this hanged man energy and your 6, right? So you've got the 2 6s and 2 aces, and then some major arcana in here, the justice coming in. Queen, right? Yeah, what was this one right here? Pay, yeah, okay, the pay, yeah, great, fresh energy. So there's this sense of like things are being, there's a newness that's happening in your life. You've got some good beginnings going on here. And this other sense of renewal that I get from this card is like this, we've got the little frog down here, right? So who is kind of a prince, right? If he gets a little kiss or whatever. But what I'm getting for you, beautiful Sagittarius, is that there's some things in your life that maybe look like a little frog, like a little toady, okay? They're not looking like they are a prince, okay? They're not looking like, without using that male-female context, right? Like you're looking at some things that might be a stone, that looks like a stone, but in actuality, it's a freaking diamond, okay? So it's like the renewal is saying that there is a possibility for turning things that are not either not serving you or just ugly in some ways, and I mean that not in the sense of like, I mean it could be what looks ugly, but also just kind of like ugly ways of thinking, ugly ways of being, ugly things that are happening in your life, like things that are not working for you, that you can turn those things into something that is magnificent, okay? Something beautiful, something blossoming, something fresh, something young, something new, something vibrant, right? There's a sense of like renewing that which may be in your world. I got this image of like, like you may have a room in your house or maybe your whole house, but it's like cluttered with stuff, right? And it's like, if you go in there and do the work and scrub it off and clean it out, and then all of a sudden it's like sparkling clean. Like I'm getting this image of like the washover, and then it's sparkling clean, and then all of a sudden that space becomes a very beautiful space for you, a very healing space for you, a very open space, creative space, right? Whereas once it was a space that you didn't want to go into, it didn't smell particularly well, it didn't, you know what I mean? Like it was dark, whatever it may be. So by just a slight sense of renewal, you can renew some things in your life. And I feel like Spirit is saying that is for you, Sag, in the month of May. That is not only physical, like what I was just speaking to, but internally, right? That which has not been beautiful inside your spirit, your heart, and your thoughts can be renewed and blossoming. So I feel like that's a beautiful message for you all for the month of May. I hope that this resonated with you in some way. I want to thank you so much for those of you who have subscribed to the channel. The more that the channel can grow, the more people I can reach, and that just brings me a lot of joy. And so if you haven't yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button down there. And also I wanted to let you know, I don't know if I said it in the beginning, but I also offer personal readings. If you're interested in getting an in-depth personal reading, please email me, all small case, all together, at abundantjoytarot@gmail.com. Okay. And I will send you the information on that. I would love to read for you. I like doing those even more than the general readings because you can really get in there. So that is that. And I hope that you all have a joyfully abundant May. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you in the next reading. Bye-bye.